Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to sit down here and talk to you guys really quickly. I honestly don't intend for this video to be very long. I just want to get this off of my chest. What I want to say in this video, I actually almost included it in my previous vlog, which was my birthday vlog, but I kind of changed my mind last minute and I wanted to give this whole thing a video of its own so that it's very easy for anyone to access it when they want to come back and look at it or find that video where I provided certain information, you know. So I decided to just give this a whole video. The thing that I'm going to kind of address in this video or talk about, I've kind of talked about it in a previous video last year, like early last year. I did a chit chat video kind of tackling it, but during the time that I talked about it, it was also triggered by something that was happening, you know, at the time. Social media has just been difficult for everyone this past 2 weeks, to be very honest. Even if you're not a very emotional person, social media has just been heavy for everyone. There's everything happening in America, which has now led to protests everywhere in the world. I feel like most times when America suffers, the whole world suffers. But then in Nigeria here, we've been dealing with a very specific issue. I remember when we did like Blackout Tuesday last week, a lot of the Nigerians who posted the black pictures, you know, in the captions, they kind of mentioned Black Lives Matter, but they were also talking about rape. With everything, all the information I have now, the past 2 weeks, like I cannot even count the victims or the reported cases on my 10 fingers. I can't, because it's just way more than that, which is just insane and ridiculous. And we're talking about people who have made the news, because a lot is happening that isn't making the news. I remember last week Tuesday, I posted a picture on Instagram just really encouraging people to please remember the names of these girls, because at the time, the three most prominent cases that everyone was talking about on social media were three girls at the time. One was actually not raped, she was shot by the police. If you don't really know what is happening in Nigeria now, like we have a curfew because of COVID. Guys, like, it's what the government has decided to do. It's not like coronavirus sleeps at night or whatever, but then they've kind of put a curfew in place. And I think that the girl was in a bus, you know, and Lagos is such a crazy place and there's traffic and all of that. And then I don't know what type of misunderstanding police officers had with the bus drivers. And then the police officers started shooting at the bus and they killed the girl. She was right in front. Her name was Tina. Just around that time as well, we started hearing of Owa, who was a 22-year-old girl who went to church. She went to church and she was raped and killed in church. This guy, from what I heard, he used like a fire extinguisher to bash her head in. At 22, what did I know? And that's how she was a student, and that's how her story ended. So Owa was raped and killed in church. And then in that same post, I had talked about Jennifer, who was raped by 11 men. At the time, we knew her as Jennifer because that was the name. I saw that name on Rita Dominic, who is a popular Nigerian actress's Instagram. She had called her Jennifer, and then I had made my post calling her Jennifer. And a lot of other big corporations that I follow had identified her as Jennifer. So I thought that her name was Jennifer when I made that post. I started talking to FK and Jola, and they were really trying to locate the girl and her family. This happened in Jigawa, I believe, in the north, and this girl was 12 and she was raped by 11 men. Guys, FK and Jola, they were able to locate the girl's family. Her name was actually not Jennifer, her name was Farashina, and it wasn't something that had just happened at once. It had been happening for a while and her mom did not even know. The day that it was found out, about 11 men had taken turns to rape this girl. I remember that every single time I remember that particular incident, I literally stopped what I was doing and I kind of stared off into space. And I kind of asked myself, what type of men do we have in this country? So sometimes they were in groups, right? And then one person goes in and comes out and the other person, like, I really still struggle to understand. It makes me really wonder what type of, like, we have a problem in this country. We really do have a problem in this country. Her name is not Jennifer, her name is Farashina. We're just going to thank FK and Jola for everything that they did for her, because they reached out to her, talked to her, and they started this campaign, Fresh Start for Farashina, and opened an account on Paga and encouraged people to please donate to help her. They were able to like get about 10 million in donations for Farashina, and that campaign is now closed because I asked before filming this video and I wanted to make sure that it was was closed before, so that I wouldn't come here and say you can still donate, and then some of you try and you cannot donate. When I made that error and I tried to correct it on social media, people came back and told me that there was actually a Jennifer who had happened shortly before Farashina, and Jennifer was raped by about 5 or 6 men. So guys, I'm not going to lie, I struggled, and a lot of us struggled. The whole thing was very triggering. And then there were also like people who were sharing their stories on how some popular Nigerian men had raped them a very, very long time ago, and they were using Twitter to just come out and kind of say what had happened to them a very long time ago. Guys, we just have a problem. We have a problem, and we need to do something about it. And then I think that there was also Barakat. Barakat was raped and killed at home in Ibadan, and she was just 18. Even as I'm doing this video now, I read a report this morning talking about how Anambra police has reported about 80 cases of like fathers raping their daughters. I remember that video that I did last year. I'm going to try to link it in the description box. There's something called rape culture here. There's a lot of shaming that happens when, you know, someone comes out publicly and talks about how she's been raped. And it doesn't matter how soon you come out, you know. You come out immediately after you've been raped to say that you've been raped, you're shamed. Three months later, you're shamed. A year later, you're shamed. 10 years later, you're shamed. There really isn't ever a good time. And I remember I have said this and I've used this saying a lot on social media. Igbo people have a saying that goes, it literally means that whenever you wake up is your morning. So for everyone who has come out to share their story, you're really brave, and I really, really applaud you for that. The thing about horrible things like this when they happen to women is that we tend to remember them by what the things that have happened to them, and like it's like it takes their names away, like, oh, that girl that was raped. And I remember from the post that I made on social media, I was very big on us remembering these girls, remembering their names, remembering that they were whole individuals before this horrible thing happened to them. One thing that I can say, to be very honest, is that, you know, things have changed a little bit. Around the time I started getting into Twitter back in 2015, I think I started getting into Twitter in 2015, and I feel like for every single year, I think even half, like every 6 months on Twitter, there's a prominent rape case, and there's someone accusing someone of rape, and there are people trying to hold the person accountable. So I remember that from at the beginning, I used to get so frustrated because there were a lot of people who would victim shame and ask, what did she go to his house to do? What was she wearing? And I am happy now that we're like at a point where we are not even tolerating that as much anymore, at least from what I'm seeing on social media. I know that social media does not even represent, you know, the average Nigerians and the kind of things you see that during when I'm even talking politics, that we're just kind of a minority who think a certain way sometimes on social media. But then at least I know that there's been a lot of kickback with men or women or whoever who imply that it was the woman's fault. It's been happening a lot these days. And even the 2 lawmakers who opened their mouths to say that men are not firewood, or that you have to dress a certain way, I'm glad, like, they got so much, like, the outrage was so insane that one of them came and started complaining, saying that he has never been attacked this much in his life. Very good. It's really, really important that people who wield influence, who are in positions of power, who have authority, understand that their words have consequences. And then for the people who still don't understand, you know, or people who have gone through something this terrible, please know that it was not your fault. It's never about what you were wearing. What you're wearing has nothing to do with it. Rape is about power more than anything. And then I hate it when people try to use things like indecency. Oh, her ankles were showing, her legs were showing, her boobs were showing. That is why she was raped. Men are not animals. We cannot keep talking about them as if they are animals, like they are dogs. You can even train a dog and tell a dog to sit and a dog will sit. Something that I think that is really, really important that we understand and know that these are just not things that we fight on a surface level. We have to fight it like they go really deep. Is the fact that a lot of the things that men tend to do, they have cultural backing. If you're part of a culture that makes it very, very obvious that women don't really have that much value, that there are things that you can acquire, you see them as things you own, you see them as things or people that should just, you know, take instructions from you without questioning your authority. They're not allowed to think for themselves. You might not know it, but these things, they low-key transcend. That is the reason why a man would see a woman he does not know from Adam minding their business, or a girl minding their business, did not do anything to him, but then you build it up into your head to believe that this person is telling you that you are entitled to them. Somebody that you don't know. So you go and take it forcefully from them. These are conversations that we need to have. I'm really serious, because it's all like, I feel like to a large extent we'll fight, but we also have to understand that there are things that feed these things. I'm going to go back to the whole indecency thing again. Guys, indecency and modesty is such a subjective thing. There are cultures around the world where a woman not covering her hair, like she's covered from neck down, but if her hair is exposed, she's indecent. And as far as some men are concerned, that gives them the green light to rape or take forcefully. I'm just trying to make you guys understand. Guys, the reason for this video, to be very honest, is for people like me that tend to feel very helpless in situations like this, like you don't know what to do because you cannot even imagine the things that have happened to these girls. I want to share like NGOs with you that you can actually donate to. NGOs here in Lagos and Nigeria who are dedicated to helping rape survivors, rape victims, victims of abuse. Guys, if you've actually had conversations with some of the people who run these NGOs, you will cry. I'm not joking. You will cry. I remember one time, I was told that the youngest rape victim that they had, an organization, an NGO, had received, they said that the youngest was about 4 months or so, and then the oldest was about 80 years. Guys, people rape and rape and rape. Rape is about power. I'm telling you guys, what did a child who is 4 months, 3 months do to you? We've had protests. If you're in a position to join any of them, even the most recent one, the last one, I know some people who went for it. They got to the police station here in Lagos and they told them to go and protest in Abuja. These are our authorities. There are NGOs that you can donate to, like I already said. Guys, no matter what you do, nothing is too small. It could be skipping lunch that you pay 1,000 naira for today and say, okay, I will donate this 1,000 naira to this NGO to help rape victims or people who have suffered abuse. Guys, nothing is too small. That is all you could give at that time and it is enough. And I am very, very grateful. And I know that these NGOs are very, very grateful as well. I think that when it comes to donations, a lot of us tend to think that if you're not giving a huge amount of money, then it doesn't count. That's not true. No matter how small it is, it does something. So this is my list of NGOs that you could donate to help people who have suffered like terrible things. First is Mirabel Center. I'm going to leave their details in the description box. The second is WARIF, Women at Risk International. Their details are also going to be in the description box. There's also Stand to End Rape. Their details will be in the description box. And then there's a Hands Off Initiative. Their details will also be in the description box. Like I already said, you can no longer donate to the Fresh Start for Farashina campaign. Like, they've gotten quite a good amount of money and I'm very, very grateful and thankful for that. But if you go on the website, there are still people that you can help. So I am going to leave the Fresh Start for Farashina link, the website link, in the description box. And then there's also the Justice for Tina Fund, which is still open and you can still donate to. Tina is the 16-year-old girl who was shot by police on her way home a few weeks ago. So guys, please, if I find more people that you can donate to, I'm just going to gradually add it to the description box. But please just know that I'll probably keep updating that description box any single time that you've seen something on the news and you're trying to help rape victims or victims of abuse, or you're just trying to donate. Guys, please come back to this video and check the description box. The details that you need will be there. And guys, please use your voice however, whenever you can. You can email your lawmakers. That's what happened with the men who came out to say that men are not firewood. They got it. They got exactly what they asked for. So guys, please, that's it. I just had to get this off my chest. I'm really begging you guys, please, 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 if you're not sure how to help, if you're not sure how to contribute to this conversation, if you think that, because me, I used to think sometimes, oh, we'll talk and talk and talk and talk, nothing happens. Do what you can. You can donate to these people like on the NGO level who can actually help. So please, you can do something. Like I said, no amount of money is too small. Please, please, I am begging you. Please. That's what I wanted to say in this video. I'll see you guys in my next one.